Hey, how you doing? Back here at JC's Comics, more your pop culture superstore at 6725 West Central Avenue, Toledo, Ohio, 419-531-6097. Sorry about my last video. I was doing this unboxing for the free comic book stuff I got in, so this is video 2. The battery decided to die just as I was getting ready to open this box up. This camera seems to be eating batteries these days. Battery just seems to be eating. Again, we can see how alright, a little bit of camera malfunction there, that the zoom decided just to go crazy on its own. So we'll see. I just had this camera fixed, but maybe they didn't fix it well enough. So let's see what's in this box here. Again, we're going to take the books out, look at them quickly, and I'll pause, and I'll move on to the next box. And then what we'll have is I'll have copies and the very last one of everything, and take a quick look at everything there. So let's see. We got copies of The Tick. Had somebody coming in looking for back issues of The Tick today. Somebody I moved over to this location about 5 years ago now, and the first time that they've been to my new location. And they said that since I moved, it's a little bit harder to find. Takes a little bit more time. But the thing here in Toledo, every place is about 20 minutes away. So if you live in some place like Chicago or New York or Columbus, Ohio, I'm sure you laugh at people in Toledo. It's like 15 minutes to drive. I bet people in Columbus wish they could only be a 15-minute drive to wherever they go. But that's people here in Toledo. That they are very spoiled that way. Looks like the rest of those are all Spider-Mans. And we've got some books that, again, just very poorly packed. These things are just very poorly packed. The Diamond, how these books are packed. Shouldn't have these comics, these smaller comics, go on top? I mean, come on. What kind of idiots do they have down there? I mean, you don't have to be, granted, you don't need to have a bachelor's degree to know how to pack. It takes common sense, but then again, people don't have common sense these days, do they? I mean, just incredible how these things are packed. They don't care. It's what it comes down to. People just not giving a crap. Let it be somebody else's problem is what it always ends up being. Just like the boxes from UPS that come damaged. Now realize the workers have to get stuff unloaded out of those trucks quickly, and they don't care. They don't care if they damage boxes. It becomes someone else's problem. That's one of the big problems with this country, the United States. It's always someone else's problem. And we're going to be on Wednesday. I'm going to be getting the stamps out and stamping the store stamp on all these books. That's going to be a very long, tedious job. And again, for these companies that think that they're getting all this great exposure, like this SBI press, sadly, you're not getting all that great exposure. I bought 2, 4, 6. I bought 8 copies of your book. Amazing Spider-Man, those are all Amazing Spider-Mans. Bought like 200 of those. So you are not getting the exposure that you thought that you're getting. Scout Comics, 3 copies. There you go, 3 copies. And guess what? I'm sorry to say, I do not order your comics. People don't come in asking for these comics after Free Comic Book Day. No one asks for these comics. They think they're getting this great exposure. They're not. As I stated in my previous video, what would be best to do is to have one graphic novel that has everything in it. But then again, Marvel and DC, they don't want to be seen with the likes of Viz or Scout Comics. You know, they don't want their books to be touched by the Help. The Vault. There you go. I ordered 10 copies. How much exposure are you getting there? Sorry to say. Free Comic Book Day needs to change. It needs to be something so everybody gets exposed to everything. But until they can fully understand that, it's going to be a broken system. Comics that I don't sell, I buy very little. There's no use me pushing books that no one's going to come in asking for. Again, sorry, Scout Comics. You know, even this James Bond comic, got this many coming in. I only sell like 5 copies of James Bond. My James Bond issues aren't going to go up. I'm not going to be a big increase in James Bond, sadly to say. All right, I'm going to pause this, put those back in there, and then we'll open up that box. Okay. Ready to open this one up. Hopefully my battery does not die this time. And what I might do is we might just open up both boxes at once. So we'll check this one out first. Let's see how badly packed these are. The last 2 boxes were very poorly packed at times. Because it takes great skill to pack these comics. There again, look at that. That is certainly a packing problem. If this was a comic that people would have to pay real money for, they might not be very happy about that. But real money was paid for these comics, because every comic on Free Comic Book Day is bought by the retailer who is giving it away. So certainly remember, please remember, people, as you're taking your comics, remember to thank that retailer. Thank him for giving away those comics, because he doesn't have to do that. We don't have to do this. We don't have to give these comics away, because let me show you something here. Over here, I have more than enough excess comics that I can just give away on Free Comic Book Day. In fact, next year, very possible, I will not participate in Free Comic Book Day as you know it, and instead I'm just going to give away excess comics that we have. You know, I've got comics that are here, that need to go over here, that there's no room, and you know, maybe that's what I'll do next year. Just give away some of these comics that are just dying on my shelves. I mean, I've got right here, believe it or not, on these shelves, over $70,000 my cost wrapped up in those comics. $70,000 I can't touch. $70,000 I risked. But enough of that. Again, remember to thank that comic shop owner for giving you those comics. Don't just take them, grab them, and leave. And it might not hurt you to maybe drop a couple of dollars too. I'm sure that he or she would certainly appreciate that, because that helps to keep the doors open and helps us to buy comics to give away or not. As I said, I will probably be just giving away excess comics I have next year. There again, look at that. Great packing right there. And again, on top, that comic there. Nightmare Before Christmas. We got Tank Girl. Does anybody remember who Tank Girl is? Star Wars Adventures. Lots of Star Wars Adventures. Looks like all the rest of those are Avengers. There's Bob's Freaking Burgers. Bob's Freaking Burgers. Everybody, nobody can get enough of Bob's Freaking Burgers. Gene's not fat enough. They didn't make him a fat enough boy. Fat boy. Okay, see what's on this side here. Okay, more Star Wars Adventures. All right. Got some Strangers in Paradise, which again, really isn't exposing anything. I buy one copy of Strangers in Paradise for a customer, and no one else is looking for Strangers in Paradise anymore. Now, if they were, I would certainly order it, but Free Comic Book Day does not really help grow the industry. Transformers. I sell 2 copies of Transformers. I've sold 2 copies of Transformers for the last 5 years. I've given away more than 2 copies of Transformers each and every Free Comic Book Day. My sales do not grow. Nobody comes in asking for, hey, can you order me a Transformer? If they did, I would. But, you know, you hold on to that hope that maybe they might. I mean, look how many copies I'm giving away. I'm giving away more Transformers than I have sold in the last 5 years. Die, kitty, die. And he did. February 3rd. Berlin. Silver. Had this company call me a couple of times telling me how proud they were to be at Free Comic Book Day and asked me to carry their graphic novels. I told them I do, and they were happy to hear that. So I bought 2 copies each when they came out several years ago. I still have those 2 copies each. Adventure Time. I only sell 1 Adventure Time. Nobody asked me for Adventure Time. If they did, I would buy it. But again, I'm going to give away those copies, and I guess I can always hope in one hand that my Adventure Time comics sales will grow. That is nice. Let's see what this is. Ah, yes, the invoice for the free comics. Nice to see how that's just in the bottom all scrunched up. All right, I'm going to pause this again, and then we'll come back and open up the rest of this box.